Hello and welcome to the post-match analysis of the third ODI between South Africa and India. India have lost the match closely, narrowly by 4 runs, and that means that South Africa have clean swept India. This ODI series clean sweep India 3-0. Joining me, Abhishek Paul, in this show is my colleague Nikhil Narayan. Nikhil, in the mid-innings analysis, you said South Africa were 60-40 ahead. India did bat with guts. They had 3 half centuries. Virat Kohli scored a half century. Shikhar Dhawan scored a half century. And then there was an entertaining knock by Deepak Chahar. But at the end, it was a clean sweep, right? I mean, there's a lot to ponder on for the team management from this loss.
Absolutely, Abhishek. When the series began, we had predicted 3-0 India, and it's turned out to be 3-0 South Africa. So from that point of view, although this series is not part of the World Cup Super League, the ODI World Cup is only next year in India. But from that point of view, this is a big setback for India. 3-0, a sweep in the ODI format is a big setback for this team. Abhishek, it is only the third series sweep India has faced in this millennium. South Africa beat them 4-0 in 2006 in South Africa, and New Zealand beat us 3-0 at home in 2020. So it's been rare. Therefore, this is a big defeat for India. India tried hard today. I won't, doubt them for. They tried hard, but South Africa in the end held their nerves and deservingly won 3-0.
Right. I mean, before we come to India's chase, Nikhil, we should all comment about the way South Africa built their innings. Led by a brilliant century, a 124-run knock by Quinton de Kock and ably supported by Rassie van der Dussen. Rassie van der Dussen, out of his last 5 ODI innings, in 4 he has got 2 centuries. In the other 4, he has got 2 half centuries, and 1 he was not out. So he is going through a brilliant purple patch, and it was supported by Quinton de Kock. He led the charge. He has just retired from Test, and he came back in ODIs with a different fire in his belly, and India just burned in that fire.
No, absolutely. Quinton de Kock, we all know, Abhishek, is a world-class player. He is probably the only world-class batsman in this South African 11, in fact, in their squad now. So I'm not surprised what Quinton de Kock did today. He threatened to take the match away from us in the second ODI, and today he got a brilliant century. His 6th in only 16 innings against India. That is a sensational performance. Steven Smith has 5 in 18 against India. He has 6 in 16. So Quinton de Kock, his average, in fact, I was just doing some numbers. His average of 63 against India is the best against India for any batsman. Minimum 1,000 runs. So absolutely brilliant performance by de Kock, and Rassie van der Dussen, as we discussed in the mid-inning show, has been one of South Africa's fine combined in the Test series and ODI series. He's elevated his batting. He's been the aggressor in this ODI series. He's come into the middle order with intent and, scored at a strike rate of 113. For me, that sort of stands out. Scored big runs, crucial runs, and at a high strike rate.
Right. And also, Nikhil, this was Quinton de Kock's 6th century against India. Only Sanath Jayasuriya, the great Sanath Jayasuriya, has more number of centuries against India, ODI century. And also, most number of centuries, if you look at the most number of centuries by designated wicket keepers in ODIs, Quinton de Kock now sits second only to Kumar Sangakkara. Today, he surpassed the great Adam Gilchrist. So, that's a brilliant record to have. But now let's go to India's chase. KL Rahul again, he fell cheaply, while Shikhar Dhawan, he scored another half century. Looking at the bigger picture, we are all talking, when Rohit Sharma comes back, what will be India's opening pair, and Shikhar Dhawan is proving again and again. His performance is crying out loud, like, you just can't drop me, right? And on the other hand, going by today's performance, India's middle order needs a solidity which KL Rahul, can provide.
No, absolutely. When Rohit Sharma comes back, Dhawan and Rohit will open at least till the 2023 World Cup is over. There's no doubt about it, Abhishek. KL Rahul,
Hmm.
thank God, will bat in the middle order. I don't know why he persisted to bat as an opener in this series when he knows
Hmm.
that he's done brilliantly for number 4 and 5. And he also knows that his strike rate as an opener is 80. He doesn't have a great record in terms of scoring quickly as an opener. And that was, again, counterproductive for India in this series. His strike rate was what in this series around 70, 71. Very poor. Again, a poor innings today. I did not agree with India's start again today. I've discussed this with you before in the shows. 10
Hmm.
overs 50 is no start if you're chasing around 280, 290. Why couldn't India have scored 10 overs 70 and 80 by taking more risks? Again, KL Rahul's approach at the top of the order, I don't agree, but I think this is a last for him as an opener. He will definitely be pushed to number 5 because Rohit will be back, and India, then India's middle order also gets boosted when Rahul is in, his best position for India, which is number 4 or 5.
Right, right. And going forward from that, obviously KL Rahul fell cheaply, and then Shikhar Dhawan and Virat Kohli, they were batting really brilliantly until in the 23rd over, Andil Filipwell, he took two crucial wickets. First, he broke the partnership. Dhawan, he was out for 61, I think, 61 of 73 balls, and then
Right.
Rishabh Pant, well, again, he charged down the wicket. This time he did not hit a six. He got out. Right. I mean that 23rd over.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
Somehow that was the start, right,
yeah.
of India's collapse.
And that was a turning point. I was very
Hmm.
disappointed with the way Pant played. Just a couple of days ago, I had done a piece. This is the coming of age of Rishabh Pant, 100 at
Ah.
Newlands, 100 in the second ODI at par. I mean,
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
was he doing? I mean, this Rishabh Pant we don't want to see. You play yourself in. The need of the hour was a partnership. Dhawan had just fallen. You cannot play that shot. I mean, you will be the most talented batsman in the world. You cannot play that shot of the first ball. The need of the hour was a partnership with Virat Kohli. He threw it again reckless, overconfidence, little bit of arrogance. This Rishabh Pant needs to curb this. If he wants to be consistently good, a world beater for India at number 4, he needs to curb this, slight arrogance at number 4 that I'll do what I want. This is not acceptable. A bad shot by Rishabh Pant at number 4 today.
And then despite that fall, again there was a sort of partnership going on between Shreyas Iyer and Virat Kohli. The Twitter was abuzz that maybe today is the day when Virat Kohli finally gets his 71st century. But again, it was not to be. And Keshav Maharaj, on the final ball of his 10th over, he got the big wicket for the
Yeah.
second time in the series.
Absolutely. Virat Kohli, we've discussed this, has a problem against spinners. His last 5 dismissals have been against spin. In this series, all 3 dismissals against left arm spin. His strike rate against left arm spin is in the mid 70s. So there's definitely a big problem for Virat Kohli against spinners in ODIs and in T20s, as we saw in the World T20 and IPL.
Right.
Today, again, very uncharacteristically, I mean, that ball sort of held up. And therefore, but he could have still done played it better. I mean, I think he was too quick on the ball. And, again, giving his wicket to Keshav Maharaj, second match in a row. I was even more disappointed with the batting of Shreyas Iyer today. Third
Right.
opportunity in a row he squandered. He could have won India all the 3 matches from when he came out to bat. But again, 20, 30, then getting out very cheaply. I mean, this doesn't augur well for Shreyas Iyer. He's failed in 5 of his last 6 innings. Very disappointed. I thought Surya played a nice little cameo. He should have carried on. But since he's making a comeback, I won't be too critical of him. But very disappointed in Shreyas Iyer, Abhishek.
Yeah, and the reason why we're talking why KL Rahul should be placed in the middle order, I mean we are kind of seeing it again and again. If the top order doesn't perform, this middle order is just too fragile, and you need KL Rahul, and it was the same. India were 231 for 7 by the 43rd over. It seemed all was lost. And then Deepak Chahar, he started playing a brilliant, entertaining knock. He scored 54 of 34 balls. He got 5 fours, 2 sixes. At one point of time, it seemed like India would have got the match. And I think from today's Deepak Chahar's innings, though he conceded runs in 8 overs, he gave away for 53 runs. He took two crucial wickets in the power plays. And mind you, Nikhil, this is the first time since 2019 World Cup. Only the third time since 2019 World Cup that India got two wickets. So I think Deepak Chahar it might replace Bhuvneshwar Kumar in the long term, right?
He has to. Deepak Chahar, I think, should be a permanent, have a permanent place in the Indian 11, at least in ODI cricket. He gets wickets with the new ball in T20s in the power play. He hits a long ball. He's a great striker of the ball, as we saw today. He almost won India the match single-handedly in the lower order. And Deepak Chahar is a great asset. I mean, he is a bowling all-rounder, and I think we need Deepak Chahar in this ODI 11. But Deepak tried his best. Fantastic knock, great partnership with Bumrah for the 8th wicket. But we always knew that in 3 wickets, tail end can fall at any time. That's exactly what happened, unfortunately, for India. And when something goes wrong, it goes wrong completely. That's what happened for India. 3-0 scoreline. In a way, I'm glad that India has lost 3-0 and not 2-1. I'll tell you why. That's because it will force India to make some wholesome changes in the team. I mean, a change in approach in the way they approach the first 10 overs. Some more wicket-taking bowlers in the first 10 overs, middle overs, the performance of their spinners. 3-0 will hurt India, and they will make some changes. Rohit Sharma will come and, try and adopt some new methods and strategy taking India forward.
Right. I mean, we'll have to see what changes the new full-time India ODI captain Rohit Sharma makes when he comes back. He's currently recuperating from his hamstring injury. He will most probably be back for the West Indies series, which is India's next assignment at home, which starts in the first week of February. We'll be covering that live too. Thank you, Nikhil, so much for your valuable inputs. And thank you, viewers, for joining us. It was a pleasure chat. Goodbye and good night.